guys, Julia here. Today I'm going to be answering a question that I get a lot, and I feel like a lot of people, even if they have done this before, still have a lot of questions about it. And it's getting a professional editor. Now, having someone look at your work and critique it is really difficult for the writer because it can be very nerve-wracking to have a complete stranger judge your work, sometimes when it's still in the process of being reworked. So today I'm going to give you some tips on what to look for in a professional editor. Now, right off the bat, I'm going to say that I highly recommend you get a professional editor. I know they can be a little expensive, and I know some people think that you can just have people proofread it for you, like friends or family, but to be honest, it's not going to be the same level of detail that you get when you pay someone to professionally edit. These people that you're paying, if you get the right people, are paid to look for the tiniest details. They know grammar inside and out, and they're going to be able to help just really tighten and make sure everything that you're working on is picture perfect. Your family might do a really good job and might give you some really good feedback, but again, it's not going to be that same level of detail. I love having my family read my work, but I always use a professional editor as like the last round before I send it off into the world. So the first thing you need to do when you're looking for a professional editor is to decide what kind of editing you want to do. There's three main kinds of editing. The first kind of editing is copy editing, which is basically looking at the grammar and the word structure in your sentences, make sure it flows correctly and it's falling within the overarching grammar rules of English. The second kind of editing is developmental editing. Now this one you would kind of do while you're in the process of writing and reworking. It's not really one of the last things you want to do because developmental editing is looking at plot structure, story arcs, plot consistencies, things like that. And the third kind of editing is line editing, which is looking at style consistencies and making sure that your voice stays consistent throughout the piece. So for me personally, when I do a professional edit, I usually just do the copy editing and have that be the last line of defense of sorts before I send the final manuscript in to be professionally formatted. But I will say that I had a developmental edit done for the Scavenger just because I didn't really know what that was and I didn't really understand the purpose of it, and I will say it gave me some insightful tips, but to be honest, I really just needed a copy edit for the Scavenger, and again, I didn't really know the differences at the time. The second thing you should look for in an editor is seeing if they have a sample that they can offer you. This is a really good way before you invest a lot of money to make sure that the editor is good for your work and is giving you the type of feedback that you want. If you want an editor that's super thorough and is leaving a ton of feedback that you can go through and kind of tweak and things like that, some services provide that, while others are just making sure that there's correct comma placement and just overall that you're using the right forms of to and your and things like that. So it just depends on the kind of editor that you're looking for, and it's a good way to check, again, before you spend a lot of money to make sure that everything is kind of in line with what you're looking for. My third tip is to look at price points. Now, different editing services price themselves in different ways. Most commonly, I've seen it priced by either word count or page count, but I have also seen it priced by the time it takes for someone to edit your piece. So definitely look at different price points and definitely plug in your own word count or page count into the website to kind of see where their official price point is for your work before you make a commitment. The other thing you want to look out for is their customer service. Now, the effectiveness of their customer service I found is a really good marker of where they are as an editing brand and as an editor as a whole. If they have really good customer service, they respond quickly, they're good at answering questions, it's usually a good sign that overall they're a solid company. If they kind of leave you on red or they don't respond very quickly, not all the time, but sometimes that might be an indicator that they either have a very high volume of customers that they're trying to get through as quickly as possible, or they're just not as thorough and consistent as you might need or want. Last but not least, be sure that you're checking for discount codes. A lot of the editing services I've seen, if you go to their Instagram or their Twitter, they'll be offering discounts throughout the year, or for example, during quarantine, a lot of sites are offering promos though, since a lot of writers are stuck inside and doing a lot of writing. So definitely check for discount codes before you make a commitment price-wise. So for me, I actually just finished the professional edit for A Weighted Soul and Other Dark and Twisted Tales, and I had a great experience with the company First Editing. Now I'm gonna say that they did not pay me to endorse them or anything, but overall I just had a really great experience. I did use a sample edit from them first to make sure that the type of editing was what I needed, and they were extremely thorough. I actually had an editor that was given to me by name, so I actually knew who I was talking to and I knew who was reading over my work. They even left a little paragraph at the end talking about how much they enjoyed my work and they liked editing it, which I've never had that done by a company before, so I thought it was pretty cool. So if you are looking for a place to start, there's a ton of editors to choose from, but I definitely recommend First Editing. So that's all I have for you guys today. I hope this answered some more questions about professional editing. I know it can be confusing and a little nerve-wracking when you're investing a ton of money into something, but hopefully this is a good place for you to start. What's your thoughts on professional editing? Do you always use a professional editor? Do you never use a professional editor? I'd love to hear your comments, so leave them below. Thank you for stopping by. Bye!